Now, I will briefly explain the background of our company and why Payroll Panda is used. Rose Hotel provides comfortable accommodations and personalized service to guests. To support daily hotel operations, the company employs a mix of full-time staff, shift-based employees, and contract workers. Because of this diverse workforce, having an efficient and compliant payroll system is very important. Payroll Panda was chosen because it helps to manage salary processing, statutory contributions, and employee benefits accurately. By using Payroll Panda, the hotel can ensure payroll accuracy, reduce manual errors, and comply with Malaysian labor regulations. Next is the company profile setup in Payroll Panda. Company details refer to the basic information that identifies the organization in the payroll system. This information must be completed before any payroll processing can begin. The first step is to enter basic company information such as the company name, office contact number, primary address, entity type, and registration number. After all the required details are filled in, the user clicks the save button to store the company profile. Completing this step is important because it establishes the company profile in Payroll Panda, ensures accurate payroll processing, and supports legal and statutory compliance. Move on to the statutory information, which is mandatory for payroll compliance in Malaysia. Statutory information include government-related registration numbers such as EPF or KWSP, SOCSO or PETESO, EIS, HRDF, and Zakat. First step is to enter all required statutory registration numbers into the statutory information section. Once the details are completed, the user needs to save the information. This allows Payroll Panda to automatically calculate statutory deductions for employees. This step is important because it ensures compliance with Malaysian labor laws, reduce human error, and improve the accuracy of payroll processing. Now, in this slide explains the bank details setup in Payroll Panda. Bank details refer to the company's banking information used to process employee salary payments. This includes the bank name, account type, account holder name, and bank account number. The first step is to enter the company's bank information in the bank details section. After entering all required information, the user needs to click Save to confirm the details. These steps ensure that employee salaries are paid accurately and on time to reduce payment errors and support smooth payroll processing. Move on to how to set up locations in Payroll Panda. Locations refer to the physical workplace or branch of an organization. This feature helps organize employees by branch or site and makes payroll records more systematic. The user first goes to the company settings, then clicks Locations and select Add to create a new branch location. Next, the user fills in the location details and select the employees who are in charge or assigned to that location. After saving the location, the details will appear on the front page of the system. This confirms that the location has been successfully added. These slides explain the schedule feature in Payroll Panda. Schedules are used to set working days, working hours, and rest days. They are important for attendance tracking and payroll accuracy. The user needs to click Schedule under company settings and select Add new schedule. The user then enters the schedule name and sets the working days, working hours, and rest days according to the company policy. After saving the schedule, the system can accurately track employee attendance and ensure correct payroll calculation. These slides explain how to set up departments in Payroll Panda. Departments helps organize employees based on their roles and functions within the company. The user needs to click Department under company settings and select Add new department. The department name is entered, and employees are assigned according to their roles. After saving, all created departments will be displayed in the system, making employee management more structured and organized. This slide explains the payroll cycle. A payroll cycle is a time period used to calculate and pay employee salaries. During this period, the company records attendance, overtime, allowance, and statutory deductions such as EPF, SOCSO, and tax. For Rose Hotel, the payroll cycle ends on the 25th of each month. This allows sufficient time for HR to verify attendance, overtime, and deduction before salary processing. The user needs to click Payroll Cycle under Payroll Settings, set the payroll cycle end date, and assigns payroll to the month in which work begins. This measure ensures salaries are recorded based on the actual working period, helps reduce payroll error, and ensure employees are paid accurately and on time. These slides explain the difference of payroll policies available. The first type is monthly basis for fixed days, where employees receive a fixed monthly salary that remains consistent every month. This method is easier for payroll processing and forecasting. The second type is monthly basis for working days, where weekends or non-working days are excluded. This is suitable for departments where attendance accuracy matters and salary aligns with actual working hours. The third one is daily basis, which is suitable for shift-based, flexible, part-time, or contract staff. This policy makes it easier to manage employees who are paid daily or hourly.
My name is Maria, and I will show you different types of employees added in our company. So first, let's take a look on employees on monthly salaries. So employees on monthly salary are workers who receive a fixed salary every month, and their salary does not change even if working hours are different. So let's take a look on others. So when you type on employee and then go to employment tab, so you can see here on the salary part, we click on the monthly. They got three types, which is monthly, daily, and hourly. Since Abbas is our first example for monthly employee, so this is his salary. And for the second one is employees. Let's take a look on employees that have hourly salary. So let's click on OMA. We click on the employment tab. So we pick the hourly, and based on the hourly rate, OMA got 12 ringgit per hour. And the last one, let's take a look on the daily wage employee. Let's take Manche for example. We click on the employment, and then we click on daily. So based on the daily, which is hourly rate, is 10 ringgit per hour. So the work hours in our company is 8 hours. And that means Majid for daily work got 80 ringgit. First, employees without EIS contribution. So employees without EIS contribution are usually senior employees, foreign workers, or employees who are not eligible under EIS roles. Just take a look on the example. We click on Abdul, which is the foreign worker from Afghanistan. But his residential status is has Malaysian PR, and he is above 60 years old based on his date of birth. So when we click on employment tab, we can see the EIS part is automatically closed. So let's take a look on another example, which is Halima. So Halima is Malaysian, which is local, and based on her date of birth, she is also above 60 years old. And we click on employment tab, the EIS part is automatically closed. Next, let's take a look on employees without mandatory EPF contribution, which is usually interns. Let's take a look on intern, for example, and let's take Izara. So Izara is Malaysian, and we click on employment tab, as usually intern doesn't have a salary, which is why for this part Izara got 0, but her position is intern. And you can see here, the statutory information for the EPF part is closed because of her being an intern. And that brings to my sixth type of employees, which is interns. But we're going to look at, for example, Naila. So Naila is an Indonesian, but she is a Malaysian permanent resident. So we click on employment. Just our student or fresh graduates under training. Therefore, their allowance is usually lower, and some statutory contributions may not apply. Which also, in this case, since Naila is an intern, therefore the salary part is 0 because they only got allowances. So for this position, she is a sales intern. And as you can see, the statutory information, TPF, and also are not applicable for her. But in the recurring payroll items like allowances, must be added as recurring for accurate ECD calculations. So, for example, let's say we're choosing internship allowance, and let's say Naila got 800 allowances for internship. So we're going to save it, and we click add. Still, her salary is 0, but she got an internship allowances. So we're going to continue with 7 type of employees, which is non-Malaysian employees with permanent resident status. So usually they are treated almost the same as Malaysian employees. They contribute to EPF, SOCSO, and also EIS. So therefore, Payroll Panda automatically applies statutory contributions based on their PR status once their personal information is entered. So let's take a look on example. We're going to pick non-Malaysian with also resident. So let's take a look on Kusuma. So Kusuma is an Indonesian, but she has Malaysian permanent resident. When we click on employment tab, we can see that in this statutory information on the EPF, so and also EIS, he has to contribute to all of this statutory information. And based on the EPF, it is mandatory for her to contribute 11%, meanwhile for the employer has to contribute 12 or 18%. Lastly, we're going to take a look on non-Malaysian employees without permanent resident status. So usually, this type of employees have limited statutory contributions. So EIS are often not compulsory, while SUKSU may still apply depending on employment conditions. But for non-Malaysian employees without non-permanent resident, EPF is still mandatory at 2% for the employee, because Payroll Panda applies this automatically to comply with KWSP rules. Let's take a look on Muzaffar. He's from Bangladesh. He's a non-resident. And we click on employment tab, he still have to contribute in EPF, which is 2%, but for the EIS part, he doesn't have to contribute. And that is all for different types of employees in organization. Thank you.
Now let's move to on how to add employees manually. Employers can add employees individually in Payroll Panda. This method is suitable when the company has a small number of employees or when detailed information is needed. To add an employee, go to employees on the left side of menu bar and click plus employee. There are 3 main tabs that need to be completed, which are profile, employment, and groups. Under the profile tab, employers enter the employee's personal details such as name, IC or passport number, tax number, contact details, and bank account information. So this information is important because it helps Payroll Panda determine statutory deductions correctly. Next, under the employment tab, employers enter job-related details such as joining date, salary type, and salary amount. Employees can be on monthly salary, hourly salary, or daily salary. Furthermore, Payroll Panda automatically set EPF, SUKSU, and EIF based on the employee's age and nationality, but changes can be made if required. Additionally, under the Groups tab, employees assign the employee to a department, location, work schedule, and payroll policy. This helps organize payroll and reporting properly. Not only that, Payroll Panda also allows employers to add employees using the bulk upload feature. This method is useful when hiring many employees at the same time. Firstly, go to employees on the left side of the menu bar, click bulk upload, and choose upload employees. Then, download the provided template and fill in the employee information in the Excel. Employees must follow the required format for each column to avoid upload errors. Next, save the file as CSV file and upload it into Payroll Panda. After uploading, the system allows employers to review the data before confirming. Therefore, bulk upload helps save time and ensures consistent employee data, especially for large organizations. Next, I will explain on how to add previous employment information in Payroll Panda. Firstly, previous employment details are added using the TP3 form, not through normal payroll processing. This is important when an employee has worked with another employer earlier in the same year. To do this, the employer goes to the employee's profile and opens the payroll tab. Under this section, the employer can edit the TP3 form and enter information provided by the employee from their previous employer. The information entered includes total income, PCB, EPF contributions, zakat, and eligible tax deductions from previous employment. This data is usually taken from the employee's TP3 or EA form from their former company. Moreover, once all the information is filled in, the employer can save and download the TP3 form directly from Payroll Panda. So this ensures the data is recorded correctly in the system. Therefore, Payroll Panda uses the TP3 form as the official reference to calculate accurate PCB, especially for employees who joined during the middle of the year. Moving on, when an employee leaves the company due to death, the employer must submit Form CP228 to LHDN. This form must be submitted not less than 30 days before the end of employment. In Payroll Panda, employees must first archive the employee. After that, the CP228 form can be downloaded when you go to employees on the left side of the menu bar and click archive, choose the employee, and click forms, and then go to other forms. Moreover, the income information in Part B of CP228 is taken from the YTD payroll data, so the employee's final payroll must be approved. The net pay withheld in Part D1 is taken from the employee's final payroll. Therefore, accurate payroll data is very important before generating the CP228 form. Additionally, when an employee is leaving Malaysia for more than 3 months, the employer must submit Form CP21 to LHDN at least 30 days before departure. The employer must also withhold the employee's salary for 90 days or until the tax clearance letter is received. In Payroll Panda, the CP21 form can only be downloaded after the employee has been archived. The income and contribution amounts in the form are taken from the YTD payroll data, so the last payroll must be approved. Other than that, Form PCB2 is only generated when requested by LHDN. This usually happens during tax clearance or PCB is not correctly allocated. This form shows details PCB deductions made during the year and includes receipt and transaction details. Therefore, Payroll Panda helps employers prepare accurate records when LHDN requests additional clarification. Lastly, when an employee leaves the company to join a new employer in the same year, the employer must provide a TP3 form. First, the employee must be archived. Then, the TP3 form can be downloaded under Employees on the left side of the menu bar and click Archive, then choose Form and go to other forms. The TP3 form includes income, PCB, EPF, and zakat information from the current employer and also from previous employers if the employee joined and left within the same year. Therefore, the new employer can calculate PCB accurately using this form.
Right, and for this section, I will explain the process of running payroll in our hotel from start to finish. Running payroll is an important monthly process to ensure employees are paid correctly and all salary records are properly managed. In this explanation, January is selected to demonstrate how the payroll process is carried out in the system. First, click the payroll menu on the menu bar on the left side of the system. Next, select January as the month to be processed. After selecting the month, click the payroll option below the payment summary to proceed. The payroll tab will then display all employees together with their salary detail, allowance, statutory contribution, and any deduction. All information is checked carefully to ensure accuracy before continuing. Once the information has been verified, click continue, followed by approve payroll to finalize the process. After approval, the payroll is successfully completed and ready for further action, such as generating payment file and payroll summary reports. Next, the second question is to show the result of a payroll run, which is bank file. After completing the payroll process, the system provides option to generate several files to facilitate salary payment. One of these files is the bank payment file. In the bank payment option, it is possible to include file for salary payments to employee and contribution to statutory bodies. The crediting date shows when the payment will be processed. It is automatically set by the system but can be adjusted if a different date is required. For our hotel, both options were selected. After clicking download, several bank payment files are generated and one of the examples shown here is the batch payment file in Excel format, which contains the payment detail of our hotel employees for bulk salary transfer. Next, statutory file. After completing the payroll process, the system provides the option to generate statutory contribution file and payment schedule under the manual payment section. Here, we can select which file to download, such as the payment schedule, EPF, SUKSU, and PCB. For our hotel, all options were selected before downloading. One of the examples shown here is the payment schedule for January 2026. This schedule lists each employee, their payment method, and net pay after the payroll process is completed. Another example shown here is the EPF contribution file generated in Excel format. This file contains detailed record of employee EPF contribution and can be used for reporting purpose. By reviewing this file, our hotel can ensure that all statutory contributions are recorded correctly and ready for further processing. Moving on to the pay slips. After the payroll for January 2026 was completed, we can scroll down in the system to the section titled Email Pay Slips to employees. Here, the payslip for that month are available and ready to be reviewed. To check the payslip before downloading or sending them, we can click the preview option. This allows us to view each employee payslip to ensure that all details, including salary, deduction, and net pay, are accurate. Once we have verified the information, we can proceed to click regenerate payslip to generate the final payslip for all employees. For our hotel, the examples shown here are from two of our employees. One example is Anissa payslip, whose nationality is Malaysia, and another is Abdul payslip, whose nationality is Afghanistan. These payslips display detailed salary information for each employee, including payment method and net pay. They can be downloaded, saved, or emailed directly to employees for record-keeping purpose. By previewing and regenerating the payslip, the hotel ensures that all employees receive accurate, complete, and up-to-date salary information following the payroll run. In this section, I will demonstrate how to add different payroll items for at least one employee before running the payroll. Before processing the payroll tab shows all employees along with their employee contribution and other details. To add the payroll item, we click on the employee for whom we want to add the item. After selecting the employee, an edit payroll item section appears, allowing us to choose from various options such as bonuses, allowances, benefits in kind, or other items. For our hotel, we selected the employee Haikal and added a bonus of 1,000 ringgit. Once the item is added and saved, it appears under Haikal name in the payroll preview tab. This allows us to confirm that the bonus or any other added items are correctly included before finalizing the payroll. By following this process, the hotel can customize payroll item for individual employees while ensuring accuracy and transparency in the payroll run. Now, I will explain the differences between adding payroll items in the employee tab and in the payroll tab and show how to add them. For the employee tab, we first go to the employee in the menu section and select the employee whose profile we want to update. In the employee profile, we go to the employment section and scroll down to the bottom where we can see recurring payroll item. This is where monthly recurring items are added. These items are automatically included in every payroll cycle. Example include monthly allowances, fixed benefits, and regular remuneration. Even if an item's amount occasionally varies, it can still be added here with the amount set to 0 and updated during payroll processing. For example, we can add an internship allowances for an intern with a fixed amount of 800 ringgit. For the payroll tab, the process is similar whenever we want to add a different payroll item for an employee. We select the employee and an edit payroll item section appears. Here, we can choose non-monthly recurring items such as one-time bonuses, overtime, or special incentive. After adding and saving the items, they appear in the payroll preview tab for the selected employee. One-off or irregular items should be added in the payroll tab to ensure correct calculation for the specific payroll period. By using the employee tab for recurring items and the payroll tab for irregular items, the hotel can clearly separate monthly payment from one-off items, making payroll easier to manage and more accurate. To create a custom payroll item, we first go to payroll setting under the setting menu. Then we click on payroll item. On the right-hand side, there is a button to add a custom payroll item. Clicking this opens the section where we can define a new payroll item that is not already in the system. For our hotel, we created a custom payroll item named first half salary and placed it under the remuneration category. After saving, the new item appears in the list of payroll item and is labeled as custom. Once the custom payroll item is created, we assign it to an employee through the payroll tab. We select the employee, which in this case is Ikwan, and choose the first half salary item, entering the amount of 500 ringgit. After saving, the item appears in the payroll preview tab under Ikwan, confirming that it has been successfully added. Using custom payroll items allow the hotel to handle special payments or unique payroll needs that are not included in the standard payroll item, ensuring flexibility and accuracy in payroll processing. In this section, I will show the payroll summary report for at least 3 consecutive months. Since our payroll account was newly created in 2026, only 2 consecutive months, January and February, are available at the moment. The payroll summary report provides a full overview of employee and employer contribution, including salary, deduction, and statutory payments. Here, we can see the payroll summary for January 2026 and February 2026. This report allows the hotel to monitor payroll detail and ensure all amounts are accurate before finalizing payment. However, payroll summary reports can be downloaded using 2 methods. The first method is to click on report in the menu section, select the desired month and year, and download the report, which opens in Excel. An example of this method is shown here, where the payroll summary report for January and February 2026 are generated using the first method. The second method is to download the payroll summary directly on the payroll file after successfully running the payroll for a particular month. This method provides option to download the report as a PDF or in Excel format. The result using the second method have already been shown in the previous slide. By using this method, the hotel can generate payroll summary report efficiently and maintain a clear record of all payroll activities for each month. For the last question, show a full year-to-date YTD record for at least one employee with past date field. Wahida is selected to demonstrate the YTD data because she is a new employee who joined on 4 February 2026. To edit the YTD data, we first go to the employee section in the menu and select Wahida. In her employee profile, we go to the payroll section and click on the option for monthly YTD. Here we can fill in or review all statutory contribution and salary detail. For January 2026, since Wahida was at a different company, we manually fill in her past salary and statutory contribution based on the information provided by her previous employer. For February, the YTD data is automatically filled after running the payroll for that month. Once all information is complete, we click Save to finalize the YTD record. This process ensures a complete and accurate YTD record for Wahida, covering both her past data and current payroll, which is important for accurate reporting and compliance.
Now that we have seen how payroll is managed in Payroll, I will move on to Jibble, which is the system used to track attendance and manage employee leave. First, we need to create a Jibble organization. The purpose of creating a Jibble organization is to manage attendance and leave data under one company setup. To create the organization, we need to fill in basic requirement information such as the organization name, country, contact number, and industry. It is important that the organization details in Jibble are the same as in Payroll Panda to avoid any data mismatch. And having the same organization information allows accurate data synchronization between both systems. Once the organization is created correctly, Jibble will be able to automatically send attendance and leave data to Payroll Panda. So this slide shows how Payroll Panda is connected with Jibble and how users are synced between both systems. First, on the Payroll Panda website, we go to Settings, click on Integration, and connect Payroll Panda with Jibble. Next, we complete the tenant information and ensure that the organization details match those in Jibble. Then, we fill in additional details such as regular working hours, living settings, and overtime information. Once everything is complete, we click on Save. A green check mark will appear next to Jibble, indicating that the integration has been successfully connected and synced.
I will explain about the time tracking rules, specifically category 1, which is face recognitions at Hotel Lavian rules. So, all employees must use face recognitions to clock in and clock out, and this rule has no exception. The system is designed to ensure accurate attendance and correct working hours. Face recognition is for personal use only, and sharing account, clocking in for someone else, or trying to bypass the system is strictly prohibited and may result in disciplinary action. Employees should make sure the camera is clear and positioned correctly during scanning. Fail or unsure recognitions attempt but may be blocked by the system. This rule is important because it ensures employees are paid correctly, prevent time fraud such as body punching, and helps management maintain correct attendance record. By following this rule, we create a fair and reliable time tracking system for everyone. Next, I will explain about the category 2, which is location per time entry. In this category, every clock in and clock out must be recorded with the employee live location at the time of entry. The system will only accept time entries when the location is successfully detected. This help ensures employee clock in and clock out from the correct locations, prevent unauthorized or remote clock-ins, and support accurate attendance, record, and workforce management. By following these time tracking rules, we ensure a fair, accurate, and reliable system for both employee and Hotel Lavian roles. Moving on to the live location route tracking system at Hotel Lavian roles and why it is important. The system monitor employee real-time locations while they are clocked in. It helps verify present and track movement across guest room, floors, and service area. It's especially useful because staff like housekeeping, maintenance, and supervisor move frequently. So by monitoring their movements, it ensures all areas are covered efficiently. So the system also increases accountability and work discipline, while improving safety management can quickly locate staff during emergency or urgent requests. So we respect privacy, so tracking is only during working hours and used strictly for operational purpose. In short, live location tracking improves attendance, efficiency, supervision, and service quality, benefiting both staff and guests. So lastly, for the category 4, which is this feature required employees to submit the screenshot of their work when clocking, providing visual proof of active engagement at the start of their shift. To use the system, employee must enable screenshot permissions on their device. If these permissions are disabled, staff cannot clock in. This requirement increases accountability and ensures compliance with system policy. Staff must prepare their device correctly to record attendance, which help prevent false clock in. While it may be inconvenient if device permissions are not properly managed, the screenshot requirement strengthens attendance verifications, improves supervisions, and support operational efficiency, and also ultimately enhancing service quality. So, in the conclusions, at Hotel Lavian rules, our time tracking will use face recognition, location time per entry created, live location route tracking, and screenshot verifications to ensure accurate attendance, verify employees, present and work activity, and also maintain accountability. These measures help prevent false clock in, support proper supervisions, and promote operational efficiency while maintaining service quality and staff compliance.
And I will explain about leave management. For public holidays, two different states are added, which are Johor and Kuala Lumpur, where Johor is the default one and Kuala Lumpur is where another branch located. This is to make sure every employee follows their state holidays, since every state have different holidays. For example, if Wan Nufai was assigned according to Kuala Lumpur holidays, while Anissa was assigned to Johor holidays. And then, for annual leave, why there are three of them are added? It is because each of them indicates different policies that align with Employment Act. For annual leave 1, it applies to employees who have worked less than 2 years in the company and only entitled for 8 days annual leave per year. Annual leave 2 applies to employees who have worked 2 until 5 years in the company and entitled for 12 days annual leave per year. Lastly, annual leave 3 applies to employees who have worked for more than 5 years in the company and entitled for 16 days annual leave per year. Same as annual leave, there are 3 of medical leave due to different policies. However, medical leave required a medical certificate (MC), so absence without an MC are considered unauthorized. For medical leave 1, it applies to employees who have worked less than 2 years in the company and only entitled for 14 days of medical leave per year. As for medical leave 2, it applies to employees who have worked 2 until 5 years in the company and entitled for 18 days of medical leave per year. Lastly, medical leave 3 applies to employees who have worked for more than 5 years in the company and entitled for 22 days of medical leave per year. Importantly, these policies are aligned with Employment Act. Furthermore, hospitalization leave is entitled for all employees and has maximum of 60 days per year, including medical leave for each employee. For example, if an employee has used medical leave for 14 days, that means hospitalization leave balance are only 46 days left. However, hospitalization leave also need hospital certificate as evidence and for company's reference. Moreover, unpaid leave is an extra benefit which is not in Employment Act requirement, but for the setup, it is entitled for all employees, excluding public holidays and non-working days.
So now I'm going to show you how easy it is to sync employees from Payroll Panda directly into Jibble. This helps ensure your payroll and attendance data stay aligned without manual work. So first, I'm already logged into Payroll Panda. From here, I will head over to the employee section. This is where all employee records are managed. Now, I will select the employees I want to sync to Jibble. You can choose individual employees or multiple employees at once, depending on your needs. Once selected, I simply click Add to Jibble. And at this point, Payroll Panda sends the employee information securely over to Jibble. And then you will notice the Jibble logo appears, which confirms that the employees have been successfully synced. And that's it. No exporting files, no duplicate data entry. Now that the employees are synced, let's jump over to Jibble and see how they appear on the attendance side. Okay, so now we are inside Jibble. Since the employees were synced from Payroll Panda, there's no need to add them manually. If I go to the people section, you will see the employees we just synced are already here. And their basic details like name and email are automatically populated. From here, I can assign them to teams, set work schedules, and define how they will clock in, whether it's via mobile, web, or kiosk. This is also where managers can monitor attendance, check timesheets, and approve hours before payroll processing. The key advantage here is accuracy. Since Payroll Panda and Jibble are connected, attendance data flows smoothly, reducing errors and saving time during payroll runs. So overall, this integration makes employee management much more efficient. Payroll Panda handles payroll, Jibble handles time tracking, and everything stays in sync. So for this slide, I will demonstrate how overtime from Jibble is reflected into Payroll Panda. First in Jibble, we go to the timesheet section. This is where all working hours are recorded. If an employee works extra hours on a particular day, those additional hours will appear here as overtime. As you can see on the screen, the system clearly shows that the total working hours for each day, including any overtime work. This helps ensure that all extra hours are captured accurately without manual calculation. Next, we move to Payroll Panda. Once the timesheet data is synced, the overtime information is transferred into the payroll system. Here, the total daily overtime salary can be viewed directly in Payroll Panda. This integration is very useful because it reduces human error and save time. HR don't need to manually key in overtime data, and employees are paid correctly based on the hours they actually work. So for this slide, explain the process of how unpaid leave is taken using Jibble. First, we go to the time off and holiday section and click on Add Time Off Policy. Next, we fill in the policy details, including the type of leave, and set it as unpaid leave. After that, when an employee applies for unpaid leave, the request will be sent for approval. In step 3, the manager or admin approve the leave taken. And finally, the unpaid leave recorded can be checked on the Payroll Panda website, where it will be reflected in the payroll system accordingly. So next, I will demonstrate how leave taken is managed using Jibble. First, employees apply for leave directly in Jibble by selecting the type of leave, the dates, and the duration. This makes the process much more organized compared to manual forms or WhatsApp messages. After that, the leave request will be sent to the manager or HR for review. As shown here, HR can see all leave applications in one place, check the details, and approve or reject them. Once the leave is approved, it is automatically recorded in the systems. This ensures that the leave taken is accurate and can be reflected correctly in employee records and payroll. Overall, this helps the company manage leave more efficiently and avoid any miscommunication. So for this slide, I will show you how employees can view their payslip using Payroll Panda.
First, the employee logs into their account and goes to their personal dashboard. From here, they can select the month that they want to view, for example, January 2026. Once the month is selected, the payslip will be displayed on the screen. The employee can clearly see their salary breakdown, including gross earnings, deductions, contributions, and net pay. This is very useful because employees don't need to ask HR for their payslip anymore. So everything is available online, it is transparent, and it helps reduce payroll-related questions. Employees can also download or keep the payslip for their own records.